Monday, everyone. It's the start of a new week and a new video from King's Own Finds. I thought I would show you what happens after the haul. So this is everything from our Saskatchewan trip, and Stephen will have cleaned it and taken it apart. This is like step 2 in our process. Everything is investigated or inspected again for chips and cracks and problems, and then all the individual pieces are taken apart so they can each be washed. And after this is step 3, where they get put back together again and photographed to be put in our stores, and that is the last step before they get to you. Now this is me cleaning jewelry. Again, I thought I would show you some of our processes. Everything on that red and white towel has already been cleaned, and jewelry gets cleaned in our sonic cleaner. It's just full of warm water, no other solution, because I don't want to do too much cleaning and products and ruin the jewelry. So it goes in there for about 3 minutes. It can be quite icky, the amount of stuff that comes off all the jewelry. And then I take it out and it goes onto a towel to air dry. And I show you all the different pieces being put away. I really do enjoy this process, actually, because it gives me time to inspect all the jewelry and see everything that I have, because I usually buy, things like pins in bulk, so I get to see all the different pieces I have. I also enjoy just inspecting and seeing what's on the back of them and making sure that all the pins have backs, because I don't want to sell anything that doesn't have a back. Now this is all the jewelry I still have to clean. It took me another 2 days to get all that cleaned because I do have a full-time job.
Good afternoon, everybody. Steve here, just running you through what we managed to grab last week at the Mission Thrift in Okotoks on our trip out there. There's also some stuff from the prior week here, such as these interesting brandy shot glasses that have a rounded bottom. So they don't sit flat, but are actually set up so that when you set them down, they still stay flat once they're full. We picked up some beer branded items and a Jägermeister pour top, which I'd actually never seen before. Here's a closer look at the 2 Smirnoff NHL glasses, some clear glass shell plates, and a closer look at the brown vintage fondue pot. And the cobalt blue Starbucks cup that we picked up is actually Anchor Hawking. From our garage sailing and our trip to the South Mission Thrift in Calgary, we've also picked up some interesting stuff. On the right, there's some very, very nice vintage steak knives with some faux antler handles, never used, just in great shape. There's also a set of Sapporo branded earbuds, which is definitely something different for those of you who like the Japanese beer. Danette laid out some of her jewelry, and we managed to pick up some silver-plated goblets and a Jack Daniels harmonica. These Mikasa salt and pepper shakers are still new in the box with the original paper. And for those of you who have never seen one, that is a Tupperware grater and container, which I had never seen before. A white and stainless butter bell. And of course, the ever-required Jell-O mold. We tend to go through those fairly well. This is a brass pocket candle burner from Party Lights, or a portable tea light burner. Something definitely different. We also managed to get a selection of silver-plated tongs, salad serving, and a nice scallop set of ice, plus an interesting cake lifter. Danette managed to come up with some very interesting cufflinks in a bag, a nice set of Dewar's Scotch ones, that we have listed with a pair of Dewar's glasses right now. The Alberta and Canada pins are always popular, as are some interesting clip-on earrings. They seem to go very well, and there seems to be a good market for them in Calgary. We are also always able to move crib boards, and I couldn't resist the steelbook of Star Wars: A New Hope. As Danette said, we're giving you a look into our processes, and this is how we clean. It's a lot of baking soda and soft bristled toothbrushes to make sure that we get all the residue from all of the labels off. Everything is carefully hand washed. Nothing is run through a dishwasher because that's going to damage the images. You'll notice the paper comes off there, but not the glue. That would be some nice baking soda paste and a quick scrub, and you're left with a nice clean glass. Last week on the auction site, Danette noticed that there was some stuff for pickup in High River, and the pictures were very, very vague. What we were not aware of was each picture was either a china cabinet or an entire shelving unit full of items. So this is what we picked up. For a grand total of about $14, everything you see here is what we got. That miniature rum bottle in the front sold within 4 or 5 hours of being listed, and that brown glass carafe at the back is at Inside Antiques in our display cabinet. There was also an interesting bike chain candle holder that we thought was kind of bizarre. 2 white platters that we kept for us for serving holiday meals. There was also a nice, I believe it's a Johnson Brothers platter, and an interesting red teacup that I had never seen before. These are Canadian-made flat bottom coffee cups, very fine china, very, very nice, and a commemorative glass from the royal wedding of Charles and Diana. Some Staffordshire Elizabethan china from the UK, which is fairly nice, although not really my style. Also managed some cobalt glass there were actually 3 cobalt oil lanterns, but one has already sold. What looked like some glass egg cups and some brass candle holders. Also a selection of very interesting little animals, including a soapstone carving of an owl. We also found some heavy glass with a pinwheel pattern and some lavender glass. This is a carafe and 5 cups. A selection of egg-shaped trinket boxes, some carnival glass bowls of different shapes and sizes, and a pair of ceramic and glass oil lamps in the Aladdin type style, a pair of brass chamber stick candle holders, and a 7-piece brass candle holder set. Well, that's about all we got for this week. Remember, you can come visit us in Red Deer at the Bluegrass Market and in Strathmore in November. Remember to like and follow, and we'll see you at one of the markets. Have a great week.